Hi, it's Neil here. Just want to do a quick video after what happened with the planning meeting last night. We've said all along as a campaign that the Oasis Leisure Centre site was never suitable for housing. I remember a few years ago I walked around the site with Damien Civita of Seven Capital, and I was gobsmacked when he said that he wanted to put houses so close to the Oasis, right next to the dome, the listed dome, and have massive tower blocks right next to the Dome Buster Tower. It just didn't make sense to me. Like, why would you want to do that? It just seemed like it was just greed, to be honest. And yeah, I understand why houses should be built to pay for the refurbishment of the Oasis, but it's the wrong site. They should not be built around the Oasis, built on open space, dwarfing a Grade 2 listed building. And we've said this time after time that it's the wrong site for the housing. We said all along it should be built across the road from the Oasis on the Clare site. But obviously, Seven Capital have seen pound signs, and obviously they're gutted now because obviously they're not going to have the money to make profit and do the Oasis up and things like that. I think they'll walk away personally from it now, obviously, because they have seen a lot of pound signs. They saw the council come in as well. The fact that they wanted to charge better money towards the construction of the Oasis as well, it doesn't make sense to me. The whole thing, it's just all about money to them, and not unto us people of Swindon. Leisure facilities are more important to us, but obviously that's not the objective of Seven Capital. The objective of Seven Capital is to make as much profit as they can for their shareholders. So that's why there's this incompatibility with leisure centres, is that they should never have been outsourced to private companies. They should always been kept in-house with councillors. And that's the biggest mistake that SBC have done. And it's haunting them now. It's biting them back in the bum for it. So yeah, I think... Obviously, I think Seven Capital may walk away now because of this, because they're not going to get their tower blocks they want. The application was rejected for many reasons. It wasn't just about lack of parking. It was also because there was going to be harm to the listed building of the Oasis. Having massive tower blocks dwarfing a Grade 2 listed building, completely unacceptable. So that was one of the reasons why they got rejected. So I cannot see how Seven Capital can appeal that now. There was many reasons why they were rejected, so it's clear that leisure land now has to be protected as open space and leisure space for Swindon, like it always has been. And Will Stone needs to get on the case now and get that skate park reinstated back at the Oasis, because it should not have been moved in the first place. It should have remained at the Oasis, because they moved that skate park before the planning application was even approved and before the land sale was approved. There needs to be an investigation. There needs to be a public inquiry into this whole Oasis mess. That's what we're calling for. So yeah, the whole thing's been a disaster from start to finish. So yeah, that's been disappointing. We've had Labour Council completely working against the campaign, determined to reduce the Oasis to nothing, basically, just to a smaller leisure centre with just 245 spaces, with no sports hall for music and events and sport, all that stuff. They completely ignored us. They aggressively rejected our application of community value for the Oasis many times with unfounded reasons. That's why we've resubmitted the application for asset community value status for the Oasis. So the whole thing's a mess, and we've warned the council many times about this, that the land around the Oasis was not suitable for housing. We warned them many times that the Oasis would not work without the hall. If they just listened a few years ago to what we were saying to begin with, we would not be in this situation now. The Oasis would be back open again with a hall. So now is the perfect opportunity now for a massive rethink and get a full Oasis back, because now that land around the Oasis is protected and cannot be built on. There's no reason why now that hall should be demolished, because there's space for the hall to remain there now, because all that land is protected around the Oasis now. There's not going to be massive high-rise apartments around it. So yeah, we can now preserve the full Oasis. If we have to submit further ACV for the whole site, we will. The whole thing's an absolute mess. And I said, don't say we didn't warn you, because we've been warning you for years that the Oasis was not suitable for housing, and now it's come to this. So yeah, a complete disaster. That's as a campaign, we're prepared to do what we can to protect the Oasis at whatever the cost, and we'll keep fighting for the whole thing, for the whole hall and the leisure centre. We're not going to give up on it. It deserves to go back to the people of Swindon, because that's what it was built for. It was never designed to be a profit-making machine, like the way it has been, to suck money out of it for housing. It was never designed to be like that. And we've been warning for years, and so now we're seeing the effects of that. Like I said, I've been warning for I don't know how long about this, about not having houses around the Oasis. Completely inappropriate site. We need the football pitches to be retained there. We need the skate park to be put back there. We need the hall to be retained. So just because Seven Capital have had the planning application approved now for the demolition of the hall, that should be stopped, because now we've got a situation where Seven Capital are paid off because obviously they haven't got their planning permission now for their massive, glorious high rises, but they can still go ahead and demolish the hall, and then we'll be left with just the dome rotting away, with no money spent on it, and they'll deliberately run that down to a point where the whole site gets flattened and they'll finally build their warehouses on it. We must not allow that to happen. So we're going to make sure that we're going to look into maybe seeing if we can appeal this whole demolition approval, and also push for the ACV to be approved, because now, given the fact that the housing has been declined, Seven Capital's original plans for the Oasis are completely, shot out of the water now. So that is why now we've got a fresh start at saving the whole site. So yeah, we're going to keep pushing. We're not going anywhere.